India in 2000, Indian sports in 2009, and Indian sports industry in 2024 are so different. So when you ask about transferable skills, it's a very valid question. And in my belief in my head, let's say, when I was moving from New York City to India to work in sports, I was at that time moving to Delhi. I generally believe that all of my learning in how to strategic planning, making PowerPoints in a particular way, to like how organized I was with like meeting agendas and objective setting and project planning and all of that stuff was gonna like blow people away. And my first couple of weeks at that time it was Dentsu. It was in a very hardcore advertising agency that was ready to invest big in sports. That's who brought me on. They were like, I remember the president looking at my strategic plan that I put together for our department within the first week of being there, and he just laughed at it. He said, "This is never going to work." What do you? He's like. So I really had to unlearn a lot of some of the things that I picked up over the many years from my mentors and from my environment, my professional corporate environment in Major League Soccer. Because and sport, continued as I grew older. It was what made me feel more connected to Americans. Grew up in a Gujarati community in Southern California. So not a lot of Indians in that particular community around us. And I felt a little different than other Americans. So sport gave me a sense of feeling more connected to the place that I was living. It gave my parents an opportunity to feel more connected to America because they joined us on all the weekend tournaments and travel and volunteered at my matches. So sport has really given me so much of life externally and internally. And it was when I was thinking about my job and my career pathway, there was no other kind of sector or aspect of life that I could think of than sport, because it's given me so much. I wanted to give back to this field. Do some things the right way. And word of mouth is so important, especially when it comes to a trusting environment. And India is very much like that too. And we would really, really just try to bring them in, not try to win them over, but try to make them realize that just because I'm sitting in New York City and in some fancy office and you're sitting in a football pitch in outskirts of Columbus, Ohio, we're on the same team because we both want soccer to grow in America. We just got to figure out ways to do it together. And I think those things taught me the importance of meaningful relationships as it relates to fan engagement and fan development.
Exciting, and the role as a director of fan development might have been a super hit to David Beckham.
Actually, let me add one thing, and it's more of the fun part, because it's so all this is said and done is great. You sit and you make all these plans, you come up with initiatives, you get budget for it, you do all these things. And then David Beckham comes in 2007. And it's like everything you've just worked on is minuscule compared to what this one blonde-haired, good-looking, fantastic footballer from England, from London, when he shows up to play for LA Galaxy in 2007, all of a sudden, all the hard work that we were trying to do to get anybody to fill up those seats, it's just like this one guy did it for us. I mean, not to say that hard work wasn't worth it, but it was just incredible what somebody like a David Beckham, a Lionel Messi, Frank Lampard and Kaká and all these great players, Ibrahimovic. You can't run a league only on these star players. If you do, you're going to be a very weak league, because once they go, people go, there's a void, a vacuum. But the power for a newer league like us, in a lot of ways, the power of these superstars when they come in, it brings a lot of eyeballs to that league, that club that probably weren't coming. And what you hope are much more like the US than they ever were before, in terms of people are professional, things are organized. It could be a lot better, obviously, but companies like JSW and Reliance and India on Track and Baseline Ventures and Meraki Sports and all the ISL teams and all the IPL teams, they're running with a lot more structure, organization, processes, qualified people at that level. And it's much more enjoyable to work in this environment than the wild west it was in 2009, because that's not for everyone. I almost wanted to go back to America. I was like, this is ridiculous. It's so hard to get anything done here.